everyone! Nalilito ka ba at nahihirapang intindihin ang phrases, clauses, and sentences in English grammar? Tara, pag-usapan natin at ipaliliwanag kong muli sa Filipino. Para mas mahimay-himay natin ang mga detalye at hindi maghalo-halo sa utak ninyo, hahatiin natin ito into 2 parts. So for this video, welcome sa part 1 ng ating talakayan kung saan ang unahin natin pag-usapan ay phrases. Handa ka na ba? Tara at simulan na natin. Ano nga ba ang phrases? A phrase is a group of words that expresses an idea but does not have a subject and a predicate. Sa Filipino, ito ay tinatawag na parirala. Mga lipon o pinagsama-samang mga salita na walang simuno o subject at panaguri o predicate at ginagamit lamang sa bahagi ng pangungusap. Mayroong 3 uri ang phrases. Isa-isahin natin. Verbal phrase, prepositional phrase, appositive phrase. Uunahin nating talakayin ang verbal phrase. Sa ilang taon kong pagtuturo nito, dito pinaka nagkakaroon ng pagkalito. Bakit? Tingnan natin. Ano muna ang ibig sabihin ng verbal? A verb acting like another part of speech can be noun or adjective. Mula sa salitang verb o mas kilala nyo bilang action words, pero kahit ang pangalan niya ay halo sa verb, ang gamit ng mga salita under dito ay hindi as verb. Ang form ng salita ay verb, pero ito ay nagpa-function as other part of speech, maaring noun or pangalan at adjective o pang-uri. So in short, ito ay parang hunyango. Nagkakatawang verb pero iba ang gamit. Ang verbal ay maaaring in form of infinitives, gerunds, and participles. Mula dun sa mga forms na sinabi ko kanina, kung type of phrase ang pag-uusapan, yun din ang mga terms na ginagamit. So under verbal phrase, ito ay maaaring infinitive phrase, gerund phrase, participial phrase. Simulan nating talakayin ang infinitive phrase. Ano nga ba ang infinitive phrase? An infinitive phrase is made up of the infinitive verb with its object and modifiers. Its form is infinitive plus object and or modifier. Eh ma'am, ano nga ibig sabihin ng word na infinitive? Tingnan natin. Ito po yun. Kapag sinabing infinitive, ito ay ang word na to plus verb in base form. So, kailangan natin bigyan ng emphasis yung structure. Again, to plus verb in base form. Ito ay nagpa-function as noun in the sentence. So, let's have these examples para mas maintindihan kung ano ang infinitive. I like to read before I go to sleep. Ang infinitive ay to read. Again, the word to plus verb in base form. To plus read, to read. Most people like to watch comedies on TV. The word to plus verb, to watch. To succeed in school, you must work hard. Again, the word to plus verb, to succeed. So, itong mga ito, although may mga nakikita kayong words in verb form like read, watch, and succeed, it doesn't mean na ginamit sila sa sentence as verb. In fact, they're used in those sentences as nouns. Okay, warning. Be aware that the word to does not always mean you have an infinitive. If to is not followed by a verb, it is not an infinitive. So take note of this. Hindi porket may word na to, automatic ay infinitive na agad. Kailangang intindihin kung paano ito ginamit sa sentence. Kung ang word after ng to ay verb, ito ay infinitive. Pero kung ang word after ng to ay hindi verb, therefore hindi ito infinitive. So, ang unang gagawin para i-check is to identify kung anong part of speech ba ang word after ng to. So, let's have these examples. I like to shop at the mall. Let's go to the mall. Doon sa unang example, to shop. Ang word ba after ng to ay isang verb? Ang shop ba ay verb? Yes, ito ay verb. So therefore, kung ito ay verb, ito ay infinitive. To shop is an infinitive. Dito naman tayo sa pangalawang example. Anong word ang after ng to? The mall. Ang the mall ba ay verb? No, it's not a verb. Therefore, hindi rin ito infinitive. Now, let's differentiate infinitive from infinitive phrase. Ha? Magkaiba po ba yun, ma'am? Yes po, pero hindi naman sobrang ibang-iba. Halos parehas. Kapag to plus verb lang, for example ay to dance, yon ay infinitive. Magiging infinitive phrase yon kapag sinama na natin yung iba pang words after nun. So, tingnan natin muna itong mga steps na ito. Steps for identifying the infinitive phrase. Number 1, find the infinitive. Paano nga ulit malalaman kung infinitive? To the space form of the verb. Number 2 step. Take its object and modifiers. So, tingnan natin itong mga examples. To play basketball. Step 1, find the infinitive. To play. Step 2, take its objects and modifiers. Ano nga ba ng iba pang words after ng to play? Basketball. So, ibig sabihin, itong buong ito, to play basketball, is our infinitive phrase. Infinitive is to play. The infinitive phrase is to play basketball. Let's have the next one. To write a letter. Step 1, find the infinitive. Anong infinitive natin dito? To write. Step 2, take its objects and modifiers. So the infinitive is to write, and the infinitive phrase is to write a letter. Number 3, to cook lunch. Step 1, find the infinitive, which is to cook. Step 2, take its objects and modifiers. So our infinitive is to cook, and the infinitive phrase is to cook lunch. Next example, step 1, find the infinitive. Ang infinitive there ay to sing. Step 2, take its objects and modifiers. Our infinitive phrase is to sing a song. Last example, to sleep early. Infinitive, to sleep. To sleep early is our infinitive phrase. So, tingnan natin. Underline the infinitive phrase in each sentence. So, identify natin ano ba dito ang infinitive phrase. Not just infinitive. Infinitive phrase. So, first example. To win in this contest is my goal. What's our infinitive phrase? To win in this contest. Next, I like to go to the party tonight. What's our infinitive phrase? The party tonight. Next, Sheena's goal is to lose weight. Infinitive phrase, to lose weight. Darwin said that I should look over the window to see the stars. Infinitive phrase, to see the stars. My teacher taught us to bake cookies. Infinitive phrase, to bake cookies. Okay, so tapos na tayo sa infinitive phrase. Sunod naman natin talakayan ang gerund phrase. Ano nga ba ang gerund phrase? A gerund phrase is a phrase consisting of a gerund and any modifiers or objects associated with it. Its form is gerund plus object and or modifier. So, ma'am, ano pong ibig sabihin ng word na gerund? Okay, ito ang gerund. A gerund is a verb acting like a noun. It always ends in ing. Can be used as subjects or objects in a sentence. So again, tatandaan, ito ay laging nagtatapos sa ing. Mga verbs acting like a noun na nagtatapos sa ing. Let's have these examples. Swimming is my favorite sport. Alin ba dyan ang verb na nagtatapos sa ing? Swimming. Do you like riding horses? Anong word or verb ang nagtatapos sa ing? Riding. My students like playing basketball in PE. Ang gerund natin dyan ay playing. Ayan. Simula doon sa mga examples sa itaas, lahat yon ay in verb form, pero ginamit hindi bilang verb, kundi bilang noun. Tingnan natin to. Gerund or not. Mary is baking cookies. Ang baking ay nagtatapos sa ing. At ito rin ay in verb form. Ito ba ay gerund? No. Bakit? Dahil ginamit siya sa sentence bilang verb. Sinasabi dyan na si Mary daw ay nagbe-bake ng cookies. Dito naman sa next example, Mary's hobby is baking cookies. Ang baking ay in verb form din at nagtatapos din sa ing. Pero ginamit ba siya bilang verb sa sentence? No, ginamit siya bilang noun. At sabi natin, ang gerund ay words in verb form but function as noun. So yes, ito ay isang gerund. So tingnan natin yung pagkakaiba. Dito sinasabi na si Mary ay nagbe-bake ng cookies. Dito naman sinasabi na ang hobby ni Mary ay pagbe-bake ng cookies. So makikita dyan kung ano ang pinagkaiba ng dalawang words na parehas ng form at spelling pero magkaiba ang pagkakagamit sa sentence. Okay? So, gerund versus gerund phrase. Again, steps for identifying the gerund phrase. Step 1, find the gerund. Step 2, take its objects and modifiers. So, parang infinitive lang din, pero this time, gerund naman ang hahanapin natin. Ito ay same examples dun sa kanina. Kung mapapansin, dun sa previous example sa infinitive, yon ay to play. Dito naman, ginawa natin gerund or ing form, playing basketball. So, ano ba yung gerund natin dyan? Step 1, find the gerund, playing. Step 2, take its objects and modifiers. So, our gerund phrase is playing basketball. Writing a letter. Step 1, find the gerund, writing. Step 2, take its objects and modifiers. So, our gerund phrase is writing a letter. Next, cooking lunch. Step 1, our gerund is cooking. And our gerund phrase is cooking lunch. Next, singing a song. Step 1, our gerund is singing. And our gerund phrase is singing a song. Sleeping early. Our gerund is sleeping and our gerund phrase is sleeping early. Okay? So let's see. Underline or identify the gerund phrase in each sentence. Walking to the store is fun. Walking to the store is our gerund phrase. Marvin loves reading Gothic novels. Our gerund phrase in this sentence is reading Gothic novels. Carla thinks that eating hot dog with pepper is weird. Our gerund phrase in this sentence is eating hot dog with pepper. I'm afraid of swimming at sea. Swimming at sea is our gerund phrase. The teacher enjoys praising her students. Our gerund phrase here is praising her students. Alright, we're done with the infinitive and gerund phrase. So let's move on to the third and last type of verbal phrase. So again, tayo ay nasa verbal phrase pa rin, which is the first type of phrases. At lahat ng ito ay under lang ng verbal phrase. So let's see ano nga ba ang participle phrase. A participle phrase consists of a participle along with all of its modifiers and complements. Its form is participle plus object and or modifier. So again, question is, ano po ang ibig sabihin ng participle? Yeah, participles are verb acting like an adjective. It ends in ing, d, t, or n. For example, shooting stars, crying babies, frozen food, burnt toast. Ito natin isa-isahin ng mga examples. Let me introduce muna ang types of participle. So we have two types. First is present participle. It always ends in ing and functions as adjectives. And the next one is past participle, which ends in ed or other past tense irregular verb endings and functions as adjectives also. So, isa-isahin natin. Our first example, shooting star. Baka malito kayo dahil kamukha siya ni Gerund. Pero mamaya ay di-differentiate natin sila. So, this is an example of present participle. Crying babies, present participle also dahil both are ending in ing. Frozen food naman, example, past participle and burnt toast. Okay? So, let's see. Participles and participial phrases are almost always near the noun or pronoun they modify. Participles and participial phrases can usually be taken out of a sentence and the sentence will still make sense. Ang participle ay nagfa-function as adjective. Ibig sabihin, ito ay nagde-describe ng noun or pronoun. So let's have this example. The skilled catcher trapped the wild fish in his mitt. Our participle there ay skilled. Describing, anong dinidescribe ng skilled? Yung catcher. So sabi dito, lagi siyang nasa tabi ng noun or pronoun na dinidescribe niya. Ang katabi ng skilled ay catcher, which is the noun that it describes. Dito, kahit alisin ang participle sa sentence, it will still make sense. So, even if we remove this, magiging, the catcher trapped the wild fish in his mitt. Okay, so ganun pa rin. Ito ay nagdadagdag lamang ng information doon sa sentence, telling na yung catcher ay skilled. Okay? So, ito na, gerund versus participle. So, for sure ay magtatanong kayo, bakit parehas silang nagtatapos sa ing? Ano bang pinagkaiba nila? Isa-isahin natin. So, we have here gerund and participle. Ang gerund ay ginagamit sa sentence as noun or pangalan. Ang participle naman ay ginagamit sa sentence as adjective or nagde-describe doon sa noun. Another na pinagkaiba nila, ang gerund ay comes before or after the verb. So, lagi siyang katabi ng verb, either before or after. While participle naman ay comes before or after the noun or pronoun that it describes. Ulitin natin, ang gerund ay katabi ng verb, ang participle naman ay katabi ng noun or pronoun. Another, ang gerund ay ginagamit as subject or object since it functions as noun, kung saan ginagamit din as subject and object, therefore, ang gerund ay ginagamit bilang subject or object. While participle naman ay ginagamit sa pagdedescribe ng noun or pronoun. So, let's have this example. Playing guitar is my hobby. Or kung babalik na rin natin, my hobby is playing guitar. Next, playing guitar, Lou became emotional. Balik na rin natin. Lou, playing guitar, became emotional. Tingnan na kung mapapansin sa mga halimbawa, pare-parehas makikita ang word na playing kung saan nagtatapos sa ing. Kaya sa dalawang sentence ay ginamit sila sa una bilang gerund at sa pangalawa bilang participle. So tingnan natin. Sa first na example, ang katabi ng playing guitar ay ano ba? Is. Okay? Which is a verb. Dito naman, ganun din. Is, which is a verb. So, sabi dito, comes before or after the verb. Ito ay ginamit before the verb. This one naman, ginamit after the verb. Okay? So, therefore, ito ay gerund. Dito naman sa next set of examples. Ang katabi ng playing guitar ay verb ba? Hindi. Ang katabi niya ay Lou, which is a noun. Dito rin sa kabila, noun. Okay? At dito, ginamit ang playing guitar before the noun. Dito naman, ginamit after the noun. So, sabi dito, it comes before or after the noun. At kung mapapansin, dito ay ginamit siya as subject. Playing guitar is my hobby. What is the subject? playing guitar. Mayan, ginamit ang playing guitar para i-describe si Lou. Okay? Lou, who is playing guitar, became emotional. Lou, who is playing guitar, became emotional. Right? Next, participle versus participle phrase. So, kung gumamit tayo ng participle sa isang phrase, iyon ay tatawaging participial phrase. Okay? So, again, let's have the steps for identifying the participle phrase. Step 1, it's the same, find the participle. Step 2, take its modifiers and complements. So, let's have these examples. Throwing rocks across the water, he, that. So, our participle there is throwing, which is in present participle. And let's take its modifiers and complements. Rocks across the water. So, throwing rocks across the water is our participle phrase. Next example. Unwrapping a candy bar, the child, that. Find the participle, unwrapping, which is also in present participle. Take its modifiers and complements. Our participle phrase is unwrapping a candy bar. Next, taken from the list, they, that. Step 1, find the participle. Taken, it's in past participle. Step 2, take its modifiers and complements. Taken from the list is our participle phrase. Next, tired from work. She, that. Our participle is tired, and our participle phrase is tired from work. So let's identify the participle phrase in each sentence. Ducking into the bus shelter, Angela avoided the rain. Our participle phrase is ducking into the bus shelter. Sino ang dinidescribe dito? Si Angela. So, Angela, who is ducking into the bus shelter, avoided the rain. Next, the power lines damaged by the rain were repaired. Our participle phrase is damaged by the rain, kung saan dinidescribe niya ang alin? Yung power lines. Next, this bowl carved in the hills of Tennessee is unique. Our participle phrase is carved in the hills of Tennessee, describing this bowl. Next, the waves tossed by the wind rose to 9 feet. Our participle phrase is tossed by the wind. Anong dinidescribe? Yung waves. Next example. Given the facts, we had to act. The participle phrase is given the facts. Ngayong tapos na nating talakayin ng tatlong uri ng verbal phrase, again, tayo ay nasa verbal phrase pa rin. Tell whether the underlined phrase is gerund, infinitive, or participial. We'll have the first one. Skidding on wet pavement causes accidents. Ang skidding on wet pavement ay gerund phrase. Laughing wildly, she ran down the path. Laughing wildly is a participial phrase describing she. They went to understand the play. To understand the play is an infinitive phrase. Modern leaders are curious to know about him. To know about him, infinitive phrase. The actor, pausing for a moment, looked at the crowd. Pausing for a moment, participial phrase describing the actor. Jam hates getting a headache when she works late. Getting a headache, gerund phrase. His favorite activity is sailing down the river. Sailing down the river, gerund phrase. The decision to eliminate vacations was very unpopular. To eliminate vacations, infinitive phrase. He showed us the cabinet painted a brilliant green. Painted a brilliant green, participial phrase. Running a business is challenging. Running a business, gerund phrase. So again, let's have a recap. Verbal phrase can be a gerund phrase, which is in verb form but functions as noun and ends in ing. Halimbawa, walking every morning is a good part of our routine. Ito ay aring infinitive phrase, kung saan ang form ay to, plus base form of the verb, which also functions as noun. Halimbawa, to dance boogie is my hobby. Or participial phrase, kung saan ito rin ay nagtatapos sa ing, kung ito ay present participle, ed or en naman kung past participle, at ito ay ginagamit bilang adjective sa sentence. It describes a noun. For example, the power lines damaged by the rain were repaired. Okay, so kung babalikan natin yung main types of phrase, tapos na tayo sa verbal phrase na may tatlong halimbawa nga or tatlong types. Dadako na tayo sa next type, which is the prepositional phrase. Now, ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng preposition? Preposition, a word that shows a relationship between a noun or pronoun and some other word in the sentence. Examples are from, by, of, under, in, of, about, at, to, on, with, upon, over, before, at marami pang iba. Okay? So, itong mga to ay halimbawa lamang ng preposition. Prepositional phrase, its form begins with a preposition and ends with a noun or pronoun. For example, at the store. So, ang preposition dyan ay at nagtatapos siya sa noun. Ito ay as adjective, which describes a noun or pronoun. So let's see. The child in the park is crying. So it functions as adjective dito sa sentence. Anong dinidescribe? Yung child. Kung tatanggalin siya, the child is crying. Pero kung magbibigay tayo ng iba pang information dun sa sentence at idadagdag natin to, the child in the park is crying. Ang in the park ay prepositional phrase describing the child. Aside from adjective, it can also function as adverb, describing a verb, adjective, or adverb. For example, I always pray at night. Ito ay nagpa-function as adverb because it answers the question when. Kailan daw siya nagpe-pray? Tuwing gabi, at night. Alright? Preposition versus prepositional phrase. So again, let's have the steps for identifying the prepositional phrase. Step 1, find the preposition. And step 2, take its object. So let's have this example. Anong prepositions under construction? Under. And our prepositional phrase, under construction. At the same time, ang preposition ay at, prepositional phrase, at the same time. Without a hitch. Preposition without, prepositional phrase without a hitch. At risk, preposition at, prepositional phrase at risk. For a while, preposition for, prepositional phrase for a while. At the beginning, preposition at, prepositional phrase at the beginning. Now, i-identify natin ang mga prepositional phrase na ginamit sa bawat sentence. My sister works at noon. Ang prepositional phrase at noon. She is a friend of my brother. The book for Mike is new. For Mike. We stroll down the hill. Down the hill. The lamp in the hall is broken. In the hall. He finished in the Great Lakes. In the Great Lakes. Tingnan natin, isa-isahin natin yung functions nila. Dito sa unang example, my sister works at noon. It functions as adverb during the question when. She is a friend of my brother. It functions as adjective describing friend. The book for Mike is new. It functions as adjective describing the book. We strolled down the hill. It functions as adverb answering the question where. The lamp in the hall is broken. It functions as adverb answering the question where. He fished in the Great Lakes. It functions as adverb answering the question where. Right? So we're done with verbal and prepositional phrase. Doon na tayo sa last type of phrase, which is appositive phrase. Ano nga ba ang appositive phrase? Contains a noun or pronoun and is usually enclosed with commas. Its function is as adjective. Ayan. So, tingnan natin itong example na to. The car, a green sedan, passed us on the hill. Your sister, Mary, got through her exams with first class. Danny, the quickest boy in the neighborhood, ran down the street. Natin ang function ng appositive ay as adjective. So, ibig sabihin, meron siyang dinidescribe. So, dito ay other information na dinadagdag natin sa sentence. So, dito sa unang example, a green sedan. Ito ay other information na dinagdag natin para malaman yung specific na kulay ng car. So, it describes the car. Dito naman, nagdadagdag tayo ng information about Mary, kung saan nga sinasabi na ito'y kanyang kapatid. Dito naman ay nagdadagdag tayo ng information about Danny, kung saan sinasabi na siya raw yung pinakamabilis na bata sa kanilang lugar. Ngayon, kung ito ay tatanggalin natin, yung mga sentences ay hindi pa rin mawawalan ng tone. The car passed us on the hill. Mary got through her exams with first class. Danny ran down the street. So, ginagamit lang natin itong appositive para magdagdag ng iba pang impormasyon tungkol sa subject or sa pinag-uusapan. Now, let's try to identify the appositive phrase in each sentence. Your best friend, Lily, is performing at the art club tomorrow. Is your best friend describing Lily? Next, the city of Mexico, a large city, is recorded to be heavily polluted. Our appositive phrase is a large city describing Mexico. Next, Susan, my neighbor, is a good cook. Appositive phrase, my neighbor, describing Susan. Next, the most untidy area of the house, Benny's study room, is packed full of books. Our appositive phrase is the most untidy area of the house, describing Benny's study room. My wife, who is a nurse by training, has to work at night shifts also. Who is a nurse by training is our appositive describing my wife. Right? So again, yun natin ang types of phrase. Una, ay verbal phrase, kung saan ito ay pwedeng as infinitive phrase, gerund phrase, or participle phrase. Next is prepositional phrase, and the last one is appositive phrase. So, dyan nagtatapos ang part 1 ng ating discussion sa phrases, clauses, and sentences. Abangan ang susunod nating talakayan kung saan pag-uusapan naman natin ang clauses and sentences. So again, good day everyone.